and mainly the children of Southport, because they're proposing to make cuts in Sure Start, which affects children, and mainly one-parent families who use that service greatly. And we're also talking about tonight possibly closure of 7 youth centres. So what we'll have is children, instead of going to a youth centre and learning things and doing activities, will end up on the street corners drinking, smoking and getting into trouble. And who knows, for the future, I'm concerned about the future of the youth of this authority, not alone just about our members, because these cuts tonight will mean another 100 and odd jobs to go in Southport, and so far this year we're up to about 400 jobs that are going to be lost, and we still haven't achieved the figure we need to achieve to set a budget in March.
With the best will in the world, we know that governments and local governments have to cut back. For you, is it about damage limitation?
Well, it is about damage limitation, but it's also about the effects these cuts are having on in the communities in Sefton itself. I mean, to do away with 7 youth centres, particularly in the north and in the middle of the borough, which are very used an awful lot by children, and there are approximately 80 youth workers in Sefton, and the majority of them will be gone by April or June, and there'll be no youth centres, as I say. So kids will be hanging around the streets, and what we'll have again is police complaining about youth drinking, getting into trouble. And this council should think about that before they actually make a final decision on what they to propose to cut. At the moment, under Tier 2, the council are thinking about, at this moment in time, actually councils in the town hall actually reconsidering what they should cut, because they understand what's going to happen in the future.
You talk very passionately about the youth and the work that the youth workers carry out across the borough. You talk as well about the ramifications of should these centres be closed. Would it have a detrimental effect in terms of law and order, do you think?
Oh yes, definitely. What we'll see is, instead of our youth going to a youth club, getting involved in activities which they may learn and become good moral citizens of the future, and also going on weekends activities, so there's no future for them. And when you're a youth and you're hanging around the streets, or you're a youth and you're doing something, you become a valid member of society, and that's the problem we've got. Our youth in Sefton are going to be thrown on the scrap heap.
Let's wind it up, if we may. The issue of the Botanic Gardens, I know, has been causing huge pools locally. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's another saving, which it's the Botanic Gardens itself. The nurseries in there employs about 8 to 9 people. They've been there for well over 50 odd years. It's always been. I've worked in this authority for 35 to 36 years. We've always had the nurseries in there. We've had a museum in there, and an aviary, and all them people are going. Now there are plans to, instead of just cutting it right out, there's a plan to maybe save some of it and keep at least 3 people employed. Well, that's good, because what it may do, it may be able to build itself back up in the future.